The old Victorian house loomed large in Sarah's childhood memories. Each visit to her grandmother was an adventure. She would explore the dusty rooms, her footsteps echoing in the silence. But there was one room she was forbidden to enter. Room 303. It stood at the end of the hallway, its door always locked. "Never go in there, Sarah," her grandmother would warn, her voice low and serious. "Some secrets are best left buried." Sarah's grandmother has passed away, leaving the house to her. Now, as she stood on the front porch, the house seemed different. The once welcoming facade now appeared menacing. The windows, like vacant eyes, stared back at her. A shiver ran down Sarah's spine, a sense of unease settling over her. It felt as if the house itself was holding its breath, waiting. Sarah stepped inside, the musty air thick with silence. Dust particles danced in the faint streams of sunlight. The house felt heavy, burdened by unseen eyes. She climbed the grand staircase, her hand gliding along the polished banister. Each step seemed to echo with a whisper of the past. As Sarah passed room 303, she couldn't resist pausing. The door, still locked, seemed to pulsate with an energy she couldn't explain. A cold draft seeped from under the door, sending chills down her spine. Turning the handle, she found it wouldn't budge. It was as if the house itself was forbidding her entry. The first whisper came that night. Sarah lay in her grandmother's old bed, the darkness pressing in on her. It was a gentle murmur, her name barely audible amidst the rustling of leaves outside. She sat up, her heart pounding, straining to hear. Silence. She dismissed it as her imagination, the house settling around her. The next night, the whispers returned. This time, they were clearer, closer. They seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. "Sarah," they hissed, "come to us." Terror tightened its grip on her. She could feel the blood draining from her face. These whispers were not figments of her imagination. Unable to bear the torment any longer, Sarah decided to confront the source of the whispers. Armed with a flashlight, she crept through the darkened hallways towards room 303. Each step echoed in the stillness, magnifying her fear. Her hand trembled as she reached for the doorknob. The doorknob turned with a heavy click. As Sarah pushed the door open, a wave of cold air washed over her. The room was shrouded in an unnatural darkness. Her flashlight beam cut through the gloom, revealing bare walls and a single, dust-covered window. And then she saw them. Faces. Trapped within the walls, their expressions frozen in eternal torment. Their hollow eyes seemed to follow her every move. Whispers, faint and mournful, emanated from the very walls themselves. Sarah's breath caught in her throat, her heart pounding against her ribs. She stumbled back, her hand instinctively reaching for something to steady herself. Her fingers brushed against a cold, smooth surface. It was a mirror, its ornate frame covered in a thick layer of dust. As she wiped the dust away, her reflection flickered into view. But something was wrong. Her reflection moved independently, a sly smile spreading across its lips. It wasn't mimicking her. It was alive. Terror rooted Sarah to the spot, her eyes locked on the entity in the mirror. The reflection reached out from the mirror, its cold, ethereal fingers leaving icy trails on the glass. Panicking, Sarah dropped the mirror. It shattered on the floor, the shards scattering across the room. Her reflection vanished, but the feeling of being watched intensified. The whispers grew louder, swirling around her like a vortex of despair. They spoke of a dark family secret, of a ritual gone wrong. Sarah found old journals tucked away in a corner, their pages brittle with age. They spoke of room 303, a room used to imprison spirits, to bind them to the house for eternity. The ritual, however, was flawed. It demanded a sacrifice, a life for a life. The writer vowed to break the curse, to free the spirits. But it was too late. As Sarah read the last words, she understood. The whispers, the reflections, it was all leading to this moment. She had been chosen, another sacrifice to appease the trapped souls. Her name, repeated endlessly, was not a call for help, but a marking of her fate. The whispers grew in intensity, their tone shifting from mournful to demanding. They surrounded her, pulling her closer to the walls. Resistance felt futile. Fear gave way to a strange sense of acceptance. This house, this room, it was now a part of her, just as she was a part of it. Sarah closed her eyes, surrendering to the pull. The whispers seemed to seep into her very being, replacing her screams with their tormented voices. She could feel her form flickering, her image fading. Soon she would be one of them, her face etched onto the walls of room 303, forever echoing the whispers of the damned. And in the silence that followed, the old house seemed to sigh, its secrets safe for another generation.